On Saturday, shit hit the fan in LA. Like, I don't know if you've seen the video footage. If you haven't, you're going to see it tonight. But things went crazy in LA on Saturday. So there have been ICE raids that happened Saturday in different cities across the country, not just Los Angeles. But the raids were heavily attacked in Los Angeles. And that's why we're going to focus on that particular city. I was very shocked to see that even Compton was in the mix of all of this. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Donald Trump has sent out ICE into sanctuary cities to arrest peoples. And in Los Angeles, it did not go well, even to the point where the National Guard was called in. Let's get into it.
For mass deportations in Los Angeles. This was a scene in Paramount, California today when officers responded to a huge gathering as protesters took to the streets to demonstrate against federal immigration operations. Border Patrol says several arrests were made, and the White House says it is monitoring the situation.
You know what was interesting about this? And it says it's monitoring the situation. I mean, it's already past that point, obviously, at this point. Now, I do want to mention something because it wasn't just ICE patrol that was there. LAPD was also there working along with ICE. And that's going to be important when we get to the statement from Karen Bass, because Mayor Karen Bass did talk to the press yesterday while this was going on. Other people are also wondering, where is Gavin Newsom? He's the governor of the state. I mean, California has had a lot happening within the past 2 years, you know, between the fires and then, of course, this, etc. But I want you just to pay attention to a couple of things. So again, you can see there were police. They were firing tear gas. We'll come in here. They also had on combat, you know, like camouflage gear here.
Up against the protesters. It isn't immediately clear which agency these officers work for. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says ICE will, quote, continue to follow the law. And it wasn't just L.A. We also saw another standoff between protesters and authorities in New York City. Arrests were made there as well. Today's news comes one day after dozens of people were taken into custody across at least 3 locations in L.A. Our Steve Patterson is in Paramount, California for us. Steve, good evening. What are you seeing there now?
Jose, this all started this morning apparently across the street from a Home Depot, but the tension continues to this very moment. I'll step off and show you behind me. You can see LA County Sheriff's Department in full riot gear. We've seen flashbangs be deployed. We know tear gas canisters have gone off. We've seen debris in the streets. We know the FBI says they are looking for several people that they say threw rocks at vehicles conducting operations. This, of course, follows that day of tension, raids across LA and LA County, specifically dozens of arrests being made. We don't know how many arrests or injuries in this police action, but obviously the tension not dying down anytime soon. Jose?
Growing
Yeah, so that was mild compared to some of the other videos that I've seen on social media. I can't show everything because some of the things are just, you guys know how it is. Now, I want you to hear what Karen Bass had to say, right? Because something here just doesn't really add up to me. LA Mayor Karen Bass is speaking here to local news. Listen to what she says.
Well know is ICE initiated enforcement actions on several workplaces, and that created a sense of chaos and outrage and fear and terror because people are very worried as to what happened to their families. You also know that when ICE enters a city, that local officials are not notified that that is going to happen. And we
Pause. Hold on to that part right there where she said when ICE comes into the city, local officials are not notified. Again, this part right about here.
That when ICE enters a city, that local officials are not notified that that is going to happen. And we are left in the lurch responding spontaneously to something that had been planned, but we were not a part of the plans.
Mayor, we've heard a lot of talk about the National Guard coming here. We're wondering if you can give us an update on when we can expect them.
Well, I hope that they will not arrive at all. As I mentioned, I've been talking to people in the White House. I even talked to Tom Homan, who is responsible for this, And I believe that we will be able to work things out. We well know.
Okay. Now, it was important that you heard what she said in that statement there to the media, because again, it's her statement, not mine, that when ICE comes into the city, local officials are not notified. So let me ask you a question. If local officials were not notified when ICE comes into the city, why was the LAPD there? If you follow this account here, People's City Council for Los Angeles, here is video evidence the LAPD was not only securing the perimeter for ICE and HSI raids, they were also inside the facility during the operation. Lying ass LAPD said they were not involved in the immigration enforcement. What does this look like to you? So watch this video here, folks.
La migra, la policía, la misma porquería. We see you, LAPD.
There's a new update right here. Aquí está la policía. Ellos son los que estaban haciendo arrestos. They're working together. Otra vez, como les digo, la migra y la policía están trabajando juntos. Ya no son migra, ya no es migra, ahora es LAPD. No, que no te engañen que esta es ciudad santuaria. Estos mismos pinches puercos van y dicen en las reuniones comunitarias que ellos no van a trabajar con la migra, pero aquí están trabajando con la migra. Aquí están listos para empujarnos, pegarnos. Aquí le están dirigiendo qué le van a hacer a nosotros. La migra y la policía están trabajando juntos. Están dejando que se vaya toda la migra por atrás. Toda la migra por atrás, no le vayan a decir.
So you guys get the point here, right? So this is the LAPD. So Karen Bass told you that local officials aren't notified. Okay. The LAPD was there. The LAPD was notified. Now, people may say, well, maybe they didn't let the mayor know. Okay. Who can fire the police chief? The mayor. The mayor. So to say local officials didn't know would know, like the police knew because they were there. They were there. What Karen Bass has shown through her leadership as being mayor of LA is that she doesn't know what she's doing. That is just is what it is. She doesn't know what she's doing. It's not just this. It was the fires. There's been other incidents as well. Like it kind of shows you like things are not going too well under her leadership. Now, she didn't bring ICE in, but still, how do you not know? By the way, this went on all day. This went on. I started seeing these videos early Saturday morning all the way through Saturday evening. This was going on all day. So even at that point, did you not contact the LAPD? Now, people may wonder, why is this an issue? It's an issue because apparently in the sanctuary cities, the police, the local police is not allowed to intervene in these situations, right? You can even see that here because, again, if you follow this account, the People's City of Los Angeles, they are very, very well aware of the laws. And they said, F you, you're lying. Right here, LAPD collaborating with ICE. This is outside Ambiance Factory on East 15th Street and South Santa Fe Avenue. Another clear example of the LAPD and the city of Los Angeles collaborating with ICE and proving that the sanctuary city was always BS. And so for me, as someone, again, I'm in the Boston area, but I was living right in Boston during the time when they said, actually in Somerville at that point, when they said we're going to make these sanctuary cities. So there was Somerville, there was Cambridge, there was Boston, etc. But that is true. Like they cannot intervene if it's a sanctuary city. But clearly you do see there's intervention.
You're LAPD, you're not supposed to collaborate with ICE. Why are you collaborating with ICE? Why are you collaborating with ICE? Officer, can I tell you something? Why are you collaborating with ICE?
You could talk to the supervisor.
La migra. Why are you collaborating with ICE? La migra. La misma porquería. Why are you collaborating with ICE?
I don't know, but this guy right here looks like one of those. I'm like, are you one of the cops from Super Troopers or something? Where is he? The guy with the mustache, that guy right there? Doesn't he look like he could be one of the cops from Super Troopers, right? So obviously, long story short, shit hit the fan in LA yesterday. And the people, so what people have to understand is, however you feel about this issue, right? We've talked about immigration on the show multiple times, and I brought on people with different views about this. The people in those communities in LA that showed up to the streets, and again, I don't think that everybody supports what they're doing. I can't say everyone in those communities support what they're doing, but for the people who did show up to those protests to speak out to basically challenge ICE coming in, these are people who kind of see it as though, hey, these individuals have been living in our community. They're a part of the community. They've been here for years, yada, yada, those types of things. But what was interesting to me is that I did not see the same type of energy or protest when this happened under Obama's presidency or when it happened under Biden's presidency. And so my thing is, and I've said this before, be consistent. Like I've complained about the genocide in Gaza under Biden. I complained about it under Donald Trump. It's interesting to me because it seems like when these deportations happen under Barack Obama or under Joe Biden, it almost feels like Democrats just fall back asleep. I remember covering the story about Haitians being whipped at the border under the Biden administration, and people got mad at me for covering that story as if I was supposed to just be quiet about it because Biden was in office, because a Democrat was president. If you look at the numbers, and there are different types of deportations, I think Trump's deportations have been more loud, right? Like he's more overt about it. Barack Obama and Biden weren't overt about it. They were covert about the deportations, but they were still doing it. If you look at the numbers, you'll see Barack Obama deported more people. Where were the protests? Where was that same type of energy? When Barack Obama built those cages at the border that Donald Trump used, and see, let me tell you something. Something that I've noticed that the Republican Party does, they capitalize on the mistakes that the Democratic Party makes. It's like if you're a sports team and you were going up against the unbeatable team, it's like, back when we still had Brady with the Patriots. And if you were like, I don't know, the Browns during that time, and you're going to play against the Patriots, like, okay, dude, we're not going to beat them. Like, they're unstoppable. If you go in with that mindset, it's like you're already defeated, right? Not thinking the Patriots could have a bad day. But the teams who were able to like just kind of kill us and blow us out and stuff like that, and if they were an underdog at that time, what they did is they capitalized on the mistakes that Brady or other like members of defense made. So that's how they were able to win if they were an underdog team. The Republican Party does this. Barack Obama built the cages. Donald Trump came in and said, okay, the cage is already here, so we'll just put kids in them. You know what I mean? It's like Barack Obama protected the dreamers, but he never gave them a pathway to citizenship. And again, that is a problem. You can't just say, hey, we're putting this protection for you, but you never give them a pathway to actually become a citizen. So Trump gets in and he goes, oh, they protected those dreamers. Wait a minute. They never actually became citizens. That's what I'm saying. And so if you have that same energy, if you're out in the streets protesting right now and you got that same energy, this energy because you're upset because ICE is coming in and they're trying to deport people, why didn't you have that same energy when it happened under Obama and it happened under Biden? And that's what makes me feel like it's partisan. That's what I take issue with. If you wanted to if you were out there protesting for Gaza under Trump, but when the genocide started under Biden, you were like, shh, be quiet. Don't criticize them. Just give them a chance. Yeah, you're full of shit. That's the problem that I have. That's what I take issue with. You guys know I love a good protest next to the next dude. Okay. I love me a good protest. But my thing is the hypocrisy. Where was all of this energy under Biden and Obama? But shit did hit the fan, and apparently it made its way to Compton. It made its way to Compton. And this I was surprised by. Now, I don't know if everyone's familiar with this. Hold on. We'll get to the video in just a second. This I've never been to LA, but I have seen this Dale's Donuts and so many things. I've seen it in movies, I've seen it in music videos. So I feel like it's iconic, even though I've never even been there. But I was shocked. There was a car on fire in Compton. Yeah. So that was Compton right there. And I want to add another thing. And again, I want to say something else. One of the things I noticed when you look at the people who are protesting, people are like, well, why aren't there more like Black people out there protesting, against ICE too? Well, you want me to be honest with you? I think that a lot of it has to do with, some of us who have had these experiences, who have tried to embrace and welcome, everybody and stuff like that. What we've come to find is that oftentimes, and people need to hear this, for those of you who did immigrate to the US and kind of made it your mission not to associate with us, not to organize with us, not to build community with us, because for whatever reason. And then you look around and you see what's happening now, and you're like, I don't understand. What you people are like, where? How come there's no Black people out there? That's why. Because you see what they doing to you been done to us. But when it was done to us, where were you? One thing I tell you is this, is like, we don't forget. So right now, what you're seeing a lot of Black people. We're just like, you're not really gonna see us out there for that, for the most part. And that's sad, but it's something that these are things that need to change. These are things that, we have to improve on as a society. And what I want people to understand is that, for those who do come here, and I've met people through all walks of life, and I've actually had people who immigrated to the US that told me exactly that they were warned, do not collaborate, socialize, organize with Black people. Stay away from them. People have told me this to my face. And my whole thing is listen, the same people telling you that are the same people coming after you right now. Now, shit hit the fan in LA, so much to the point that they called in the National Guard. Check this out.
That President Trump ordered have started to arrive.
Eyewitness News reporter Amanda Palacios joins us live from downtown Los Angeles with the breaking update. Amanda.
Good morning. Yeah, we've already seen a large growing National Guard presence here in downtown LA. If you take a look behind me here, you can see troops are stationed along Alameda Street as another protest is expected to take place later today near City Hall. This follows President Trump's deployment of 2,000 National Guard members in response to a series of immigration protests across the city. This is new video from overnight showing the troops arrive. They stopped at City Hall after driving through Paramount, then ended up here at the Federal Building. Meantime, this follows another night of protest.
Let me pause here for a second. There's another thing I want to add to this. They were also talking about, I have to check and see if this happened yet, that they wanted to send in the Marines. And I got to say this, like, that's kind of a big no-no in this country, that you don't send in like the Marines and all this kind of thing. It's the idea that, like, if you send them in as like a police state or to act as the police, then it sends a message to the American people about the military. Although I would say that message has probably already been sent through other means, like war. But I think that, guys, we are living in interesting times. We've had protests nonstop since I mean, big protests nonstop, I would say since 2016, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, let me know. But it's been back and forth. Like we had large protests under Trump in 2016. We had large protests under Biden, against the genocide, which continued under the Trump administration that we have right now. People have been taking it to the streets, for years over different issues, but for years. And I think Occupy, correct. I forgot about Occupy. Occupy Wall Street was under Obama as well. And I think if that says something, that people are just upset with the system, that people are fed up, whether you agree with the protest or not, I think people are screaming that like things need to change. Something needs to change. One of the things I've said before about the immigration system is that nobody ever tried to fix this. None of the presidents since I've been alive have really made steps to speed up immigration, stop destroying countries, stop implementing coups in countries like Venezuela, stop stealing resources in these countries. Again, like a lot of the people that leave, they're leaving trauma. They're leaving like global disasters that have been committed by the United States and other countries in the West, to be honest with you. Haiti is a perfect example of that. A perfect example of that. Now, not everybody is coming here because of that, but there are a lot of people who do come here because of that. And if you talk to some people, they'll tell you most people don't want to leave their home. But we have destroyed so many countries economically through sanctions, stealing resources, so many things that the government, the US government has done. And then people say, why are they coming here? But they don't look at what happened before they came here. And they're also not just coming here. They're also going to other countries in the West. They're going to European countries as well. They've also gone to other countries on their continent before they came here. That's the situation with Venezuela, which a lot of people don't understand. And Anya Parampil explained this so well in her book as well, is that some of the people that are coming from Venezuela aren't Venezuelan. They came from other countries in South America and they went to Venezuela before they even came here. So look, it's a global problem. It's a global issue. And I feel like our government isn't really trying to solve the issue. One image that was left, Tara Reid shared this. She said, sponsored by Soros and Son, is this picture right here. I don't know who took this picture, but it's interesting, huh? Yeah. The people, regardless how you feel about it, guys, the moral of the story is the people are fed up. The people have had enough. And you may not agree with every issue that people are protesting over, but I think people have just had it. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.